just hear your boat scraping around.
Go! I feel like it's going to be one of those days of boating where everything just goes wrong.
Woken up to the smell of fresh bread. It's another fairly early start because we've still got about 14 hours to get to Oxford. Everyone's pretty tired though.
This bit is so cool. Straight through the centre of Banbury. This is where the bowling is, mini golf, cinema, and then all the shops are in here. It's really nice. It's a really nice town as well. It feels like a big built-up town with loads of things that you can do, but it feels really, really safe.
Yeah, it was really quiet last night. We were moored around the corner, but it was still, yeah, just really calm. Doesn't get rowdy or anything. It's good.
It's finally happened. We've come across our first block to Elson.
It's in a very busy area. Now we've gotten to the bottom of the lock, and there's the Elson point. We won't show you.
Only a short cruise after we left the broken Elson point, we finally saw the impacts of the low water levels. An old traditional boat, which sits a lot lower in the water than us, had gotten stuck completely on the silt.
Even though we were on a tight schedule, we couldn't just leave another boat as stranded, so we stopped to help.
Into reverse,
yeah,
and we'll just see what happens.
We're moving. Just keep going, Wes, we're moving. Yeah, it's moving, keep going. Keep going, Wes. Yeah. Go. Keep going.
The boat was well and truly beached. We tried so hard in so many different ways to get it to move.
Going.
But every time we managed to budget a little bit, it would just get stuck again.
Keep going, Wes. Yeah.
Let me see now, because you're moving slightly. You loosen up, let me see back in the first.
Okay.
These guys,
We've loosened off from ours because she's going to see if it'll do it on its own. She just wait a sec.
Do you want me to just move out of the way?
Yeah, maybe. We tried pushing the boat, pulling it, using barge poles, the ropes, but nothing would get it to budge from the silt.
Our little boat gave it everything it could, but after almost an hour we still hadn't managed to get it free.
Thankfully, along came a boat with a much bigger, stronger engine than ours, and they were able to finally get it free. That puts our engine to shame, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we're a bit behind schedule now. There was a boat called the Floating Theatre Company, and they're like an old ex-working boat, really deep draft. With the low water levels, they've really suffered for it. She was saying that she's set off at 7 AM this morning and already gotten stuck 3 times, and barely anyone stopped to help her, so we just obviously wanted to do our best to get her out. Did in the end with the help of another boat, but it's now meant that we are quite far behind schedule. It's just so low here, like moored boats, you can just see us sat on the silt on the canal bed. They don't rock when you go past. Water levels just horrendous here. Like, we just tried to pull over to let a boat pass and it started listing loads, so we had to reverse it back. It's really scary. We would normally just stop and wait, but we've got to get our friends to the train station by Monday. So we've just got to go through it, and now we're coming up to some locks, which obviously is equally scary, and everyone's saying it's worse this way.
I feel like it's going to be one of those days of boating where everything just goes wrong.
Another thing that you might not consider with the low water levels is it also means that you go extra slow for two reasons. One, you travel slower in shallow water anyway because physics, and two, the faster you go, the deeper your stern sits in the water, and when it's this shallow, that makes enough of a difference to be scraping along the bottom. So you're basically crawling at about 2 miles an hour the whole way. It really isn't pleasant cruising today. Every 5 minutes or so, you sort of run half aground and you can just hear your boat scraping around. It's way too hot, there's no shade, very little intermittent breeze. Even summer isn't all romantic. One saving grace is that we're going downhill all the way, so at least we're taking water with us, and there's still quite a few boats going around as well, so hopefully that'll help a little bit with the water levels, but they're still so low. On the plus side, Polly and Fleur are inside making us some traditional Polish dumplings, which I think are called pierogi, and they look really good and they smell really good. Rufus is confined to the boat for this lock though, because there is a little cat walking around. He's being ever such a good boy in the heat. So much cooler in these locks. The interesting thing though is that these locks have only got one gate either side, whereas normally the downstream bit will have two. It makes it a little bit easier for Amy, but it means that the gates are also heavier to lift. Just strong though. The heavy gates don't deter her. We've just been through King Sutton Lock and the water level's still low, but it's way better down here. We can go a little bit quicker, hopefully make up some ground, and fingers crossed it's okay from here on. We've heard mixed things from different boaters, but hopefully it's better. Credit where it's due, this little boy's been very good today and is actually staying in the shade rather than risking heat stroke. He still has to be outside, but at least he's being slightly more sensible. Found the famous pig place.
I'm excited to check it out.
It looks like there's a spot.
She's never seen a pig before. Serious.
Briefly stopped off at Pig Place just to have a look, but we are on quite a tight schedule and it's too hot to be sat outside. So we're back on the way now, heading towards
Hayford.
Hayford.
So we're just coming up to, it's called Weir Lock, and it's a weird shape. It's like a square lock, and there's a river that crosses across the canal, and then the lock is right next to it. It's quite cool. So the river goes down there and down there, and here's the canal. And this is the lock. It's like a hexagon shape. It looks like a swimming pool and it's so hot. I want to dive in so badly.
Crying with excitement, and rightly so.
It's alright everyone, you sit there, I'll do the lock.
We're admiring the unorthodoxness of this lock.
Whoa, hold on. It's a steep This is how much the lock dropped by.
The heat's definitely died down a little bit. The water levels are a lot better here. I think it's because there's a little river up that way and it's just helping feed it. So it's much nicer now, much more relaxed. And even though we're a lot behind schedule because of the boat that got stuck, it was still worth it for our good deed for the day.
This might be the first lock we've ever been in where both of us are in it and we're not having to do it ourselves. It's nice having a crew. Getting a free window clean as well. It's like being in the car wash.
I think the crew's getting a bit too big for their britches.
Hi guys. What's a baby?
That was hopefully the last lock of the day. It's been a really long day, and now all we need to do is get to Lower Hayford and then we can moor up at last for the night.
Chill.
Last obstacle of the day, a lift bridge. And then we think around the corner there should be some good moorings. We've been cruising from about 10 AM and it's now 6:45. We finally found our mooring and Amy spotted a stream, just a short walk backwards, so we're going to go check it out and unwind because we've been cruising for about 9 hours today and we've done similar in the past 2 days. Everyone is understandably very tired. It'd be nice just to have a little paddle.
Pretty good. What are you doing, eh? You being a menace? You having a nice time? What's that?
Get it then! Get it then! Good boy, good boy. Get it in. Wiggle out. Oh, get it there.
He wants to so bad.
Oh, good boy. Good boy, good boy. Kiss it. Wah. Oh, good boy. Good boy.
Hey. It's mine. It's mine. Wes has made another one of his famous lasagnas for us all.
It's my favourite food of all time, my mother's recipe. It doesn't look that pretty when it's on a plate, but trust me, it tastes good.
And you might have noticed the clock behind you.
Ignore that. It's Monday morning, and Polly and Flair are going today, which is sad. We're walking them to the station now. It's only about a 7-minute walk. And then we're coming back to the boat, and the rest of us are cruising on to Oxford. Bye, Polly and Flair. Bye.
Wave the whole time, go back.
And we're off once again on this marathon cruise to Oxford. This is hopefully the last and shortest stretch, so it should be a lot more relaxed today.
That's corn.
Wish that I could stay. Wish for this moment to never go away. But it's all in my mind, and though I know that there is nothing to find.
Wes has absolutely smashed the driving. He's been driving like 9-10 hours a day, every day for 4 days. So now the water levels are better and we're on a quiet stretch. He's gone to the front and he's just chilling with Blub.
Yeah, come in.
Just when I'm practicing my driving, this side is super shallow and there's a sunken boat sticking right out in the middle of the canal just before a lock. I did it though! I did it!
See how you've grown while you roam in the streets all alone. And all you can see, thinking about what your life came to be.
Even though our horn is working now, we do still have a backup courtesy of Tom and Alice.
So we've just turned up at, we think, Pigeon Lock, and there was about 4 or 5 boats waiting and there was loads of people, and it turns out that there was a boat stuck in the lock. They've now cleared it, the CRT have had to come and we can see them doing something, but there's just a backlog of boats, so I think we're the 4th in the queue. So we're just kind of having to hover around and wait for the backlog to be cleared. There's always something, there's always something. I've got 2 boats in the same lock because they're both short. Never seen it before. Scary.
Looks like there's nothing wrong with the lock, thankfully. It was just a very deep drafted boat, got grounded. And down we go.
Planes, trains, boats. That's what we needed when we got the boat blacked. We're about to go on to the River Cherwell, and luckily we've got green flashing lights.
made our way to Thrupp, and there's facilities here at last, given that the ones at Banbury were broken.
Just at the facilities at Thrupp, and I have to say, one of the nicest facilities we've been to. It's got everything: water, Elson, a toilet, bins, and the volunteers are really, really lovely. There's helping out, there's a little cafe here, and there's a canoe hire place as well. It's just a really nice little town. So that was hopefully the last stop, but we were hoping that it was only about an hour to Oxford or like Kidlington, which is just before. We asked one of the volunteers and he said it's 3 hours. So it might not be like the last stop before Oxford. Who knows? There's only one way to find out. We put Rufus's bed in the shade, but he's determined to lay in the sun.
Rufus, you're the worst.
We've just been through Duke's Lock and we are going right towards Duke's Cut. We're going to go down that a little bit because we wanted more at Port Meadows. This is going to be the first stretch on the Thames. It's very exciting. This is the junction. So down here is the Oxford Canal. And down here is the Duke's Cut. And now we're on Environment Agency waters, no longer on CRT.
We're going on to the Duke's Cut now, which is just a little bit of canal between the Oxford Canal and where the rivery bits start. We've seen various things online about it being closed at certain points or something to do with water shortages, but it doesn't look like it's closed yet. So we're going through. I'm hoping it's not going to be closed at the end.
It's an unusual lock paddle though. Never seen this before. It's going just very slowly. Also, you can already tell the difference between being on a canal and a river because we can see the bottom of our boat under the water. It's so clean.
I am quite scared of going on the Thames. This feels like the training wheels are coming off and this is it now. We're about to be proper boaters and go on big rivers.
There it is, River Thames. Tune in next week to find out how we get on the big scary river.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell for our weekly vlogs.
Huge thank you to those who used Buy Me a Coffee this week.
If you're interested in seeing our journey from the start, hit the playlist on screen and follow us on our socials at BoatTime UK.